Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Sky Sports journalist drops big Bukayo Saka update from Arsenal training pre-Luton. Arsenal's trip to the Etihad Stadium was marked by another injury scare involving Gunners star Bukayo Saka, who had to come off in the second half. The 22-year-old was declared fit to start for Arsenal against the Citizens, but made way for Gabriel Martinelli 12 minutes from time. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta revealed that fatigue played a part in his decision to substitute Saka against the reigning champions. He said, "Well, as you know, he has been out for a few weeks now with a little problem, and he was feeling that fatigue. Right now, he hasn't trained. He trained one day before the match. He had a big contribution, but 90 minutes were too much for him." There are now some good news on the Saka fitness front, as per Sky Sports reporter James Green, who delivered the report on X. The journalist, reporting from Arsenal's open training session on Tuesday, confirmed that the England international was taking part alongside his teammates. Arsenal are next in action on Wednesday night when they host Luton Town at the Emirates Stadium, with the run-in now firmly underway and the margins so fine between the title challengers. Having the best players available will be absolutely key. It's great to hear from Green that Saka is indeed taking part in training ahead of another crucial fixture against a very tricky opponent. The Hatters gave Tottenham a real scare at the weekend and very nearly came away with a point, so Arsenal will be certain not to take them lightly under the N5 floodlights on Wednesday night. Mikel Arteta says unstoppable Arsenal 22-year-old could play 90 minutes against Luton. The Gunners missed Gabriel Martinelli in Sunday's 0-0 draw against Manchester City. The Brazil international was able to come on for the final 12 minutes, but was not fit enough to start at the Etihad Stadium. Martinelli has struggled with a foot injury ever since the 6-0 win over Sheffield United back in March, and was seen on crutches before the recent 2-1 victory over Brentford. Now, however, Arteta has claimed that the South American could actually play 90 minutes against Luton. The Spaniard is quoted by Chris Whitley as saying, "He is available to play for 90 minutes because he was available to play against a really tough opponent, and he certainly is today. We will train today, see the state of every player, and make the right decision tomorrow." That is fantastic news for Arsenal, to say the least. Martinelli's pace and directness down the left flank are huge for the Gunners. Ian Wright even believes Arsenal would have beaten Manchester City if the Brazilian was fit enough to start against a spirited Luton side, who are expected to sit deep at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday and hit the Gunners on the break. The Arsenal number 11's excellent dribbling skills will surely be required to break down the Hatters. Arteta must ensure Martinelli is actually ready to play 90 minutes, as it would be a major blow if Arsenal lost the South American during this title race. Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Jesus represent fantastic attacking options out on the left, although neither are as quick as Martinelli, whose electric pace helps to give Arsenal a counter-attacking edge. Hopefully, the unstoppable Martinelli is fit enough to start against Luton and can also stay in the starting 11 going forwards. Arsenal are a far more dangerous side with the 22-year-old involved, to say the least. Mikel Arteta says a player who hasn't started a Premier League game for Arsenal this season has made a huge impact. Mikel Arteta has claimed that one squad player has made a huge impact at Arsenal. With such a talented squad at his disposal, there are bound to be players who barely feature under Mikel Arteta. Arsenal are right in the mix for the Premier League title, with 9 games left to play, and the Spaniard is unlikely to experiment with his side from here on out. That will lead to the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe and Reece Nelson continuing to play a bit part role until the end of the campaign, but that doesn't necessarily mean that neither player will have a role to play in this year's title race. Just last season, we saw Nelson come off the bench to provide arguably the most memorable moment of the campaign against Bournemouth. While the 24-year-old is yet to contribute with a goal contribution in the league this term, Arteta feels Nelson has made a huge impact at the club. Speaking to the media ahead of tomorrow's clash at Luton, Arteta was asked about striking the right balance to hand the players minutes. He said, "It's always that balance, and when you play and haven't played, it's our obligation and duty to be prepared to play any minute, in any moment. You see a lot of moments with the example of Reece Nelson. When you look at Reece moments for Arsenal, there are moments when he's played a few minutes and made a huge impact, and it's one of the best days of his life as an Arsenal player. Nobody remembers if he started or came off the bench. And a lot of examples are like this in both football and the history of the sport when a lot of players make their impact. Sometimes you just need a second to change the history of a football club. You just need 100 minutes to play a football match." Carlton Cole says £13 million Arsenal player is the most underrated player in the Premier League. There are a number of very underrated players in the Premier League at the moment, especially at Arsenal. The Gunners may well be one of the best teams in the country, but some of their players may not be getting the credit they deserve. Speaking to ESPN on TikTok, Carlton Cole named one Arsenal midfielder as the most underrated player in the Premier League. According to Cole, Jorginho is in fact the most underrated player in the Premier League. He said, "Who's the most underrated player in the league? Haaland? No, I'm joking. I'm going to go with Jorginho. He is doing well now, and nobody really appreciates his experience and what he brings to the team. He lets Declan Rice go forward and express himself." Cole may not be too far wrong here. Indeed, Jorginho often doesn't get the credit he deserves for the way he plays in this Arsenal side. Since the turn of the year, he's added a new level of calmness and composure to this Arsenal side, and he's really helped Declan Rice unlock a new side to his game. The £13 million man played a massive part in Arsenal's statement win against Liverpool back in February, and if the Gunners do end up winning the league, the Italian will have made more than a minor impact on Arsenal's charge. Whether or not Arsenal do go on to win the league or not remains to be seen, but with a player as experienced and as talented as Jorginho in their side, the Gunners have a great chance of going all the way this season. Pounded says £45 million Arsenal player looked so much sharper against Man City. Speaking on the Handbrake Off podcast, Adrian Clark has been reviewing this game against City, and he says that Thomas Partey looked a lot better than he has in recent weeks. He said, "What I would say is that Partey looked significantly better than he has done. That's a low bar, but he looked more like the Partey we remember. He looked sharper. I think I would get him in there." Clark is spot on. The £45 million man did look a lot better against Manchester City, but the bar is very low. Partey has been, relatively speaking, poor since his return from injury, but he is now starting to get back into the rhythm of things and beginning to motor in that midfield. At his best, Partey is arguably Arsenal's most influential midfield player, but after a number of months on the sidelines struggling to get fit, he has been a little bit rusty as of late. Luckily, it looks as though Partey is getting back to something close to his best, and that could be absolutely massive for Arsenal as we head into the business end of the season and the Gunners look to win their first Premier League title in 20 years. Partey could still have a massive part to play in Arsenal's title push, especially if he can continue improving as he did against Man City on Sunday. Fabrizio Romano says Arsenal still dream of Zubimendi signing this summer. Whether or not the North Londoners do come up trumps, Arteta will want to continue to improve all areas of the squad, and to that end, Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi remains someone of interest. The midfielder does have a release clause in place with the Basque side. However, Fabrizio Romano, speaking with Cout Offside for his daily briefing, notes that he is content to stay put at present. He said, Martin Zubimendi is still super happy at Real Sociedad. He loves the club, the city, the fans, no issues. Of course, if any club will trigger his release clause, it will be up to the player to decide on the next move, but he is surely on the list at Arsenal and Bayern. I never said Bayern were unlikely, just that he was a top target in case Alonso joined, and it now will depend on the new coach. So let's wait and see on the movements in the summer, but Zubimendi is not pushing to leave. However, in case of proposals, he will consider his future. It's been previously thought that Barcelona were a potential destination for Zubimendi, though they too will likely have found the same answer that Arsenal have now, with the Gunners being in a much better position financially to be able to get a deal over the line. Club are starting to think about selling their £100 million player after he is linked with Arsenal, whilst a defender, a midfielder, and winger would represent a strong window for the club amid all the players who may leave. A new striker will surely be on the agenda as well. It felt as if Arsenal were close to pulling the trigger in January, perhaps in pursuit of Ivan Toney, but didn't necessarily get the go ahead from Brentford. But according to Sports Lens, that could be a different situation with Alexander Isak. According to the report, Newcastle United are becoming more open minded about selling Isak amid their difficult financial situation. Both Arsenal and Tottenham are said to be interested, but either club would have to pay around £100 million to sign the 24-year-old. Of course, given Isak's superb record in England and the lack of availability among other top strikers right now, a move could still be worth it for Arsenal. The club seem to be most strongly linked with the Sporting striker Victor Gyökeres right now, a move which wouldn't necessarily be the best stylistic fit. It appears that Arsenal need either a striker who can dominate the box or to be excellent in a transition, with Gyökeres not quite fitting that brief. On the other hand, Isak, who has scored a pretty incredible 24 goals in 43 Premier League games, could be the man. Isak has also made an impression in the Champions League this season for Newcastle, and he now only needs to perhaps improve his fitness record. Arsenal put one of the best players in the world top of their summer wish list. Arsenal are enjoying a great season in which they remain firmly in contention for the Premier League title and the Champions League. Gunners boss Mikel Arteta has done an amazing job of strengthening his team with each passing season. Arteta and Edu will not rest on their laurels in the summer, particularly since they couldn't really do much business in January due to FFP constraints. Now, a report from Football Transfers has claimed that Arsenal have placed a world-class utility player at the top of their transfer list. The report claims that the Gunners have firmly set their sights on Bayern Munich star Joshua Kimmich. FT claimed that Arteta and Edu consider the 29-year-old a concrete target and is right at the top of Arsenal's shortlist of players who can play at right back. Apparently, Bayern have told the Gunners that they will refuse to have any dialogue regarding a move for Kimmich until the end of the season. However, FT sources have said they expect Arsenal's interest in the German international to really hit up once the campaign has finished. Kimmich would be a great acquisition for Arsenal as he is very much proven at the highest level. He has clocked up 379 competitive appearances for Bayern, registering 41 goals and 102 assists. He also has 84 caps for Germany. Kimmich's trophy haul is mightily impressive. He has won a Champions League, one FIFA Club World Cup, 8 Bundesliga titles, and a multitude of German domestic cups to his name. The reported Gunners target is a central midfielder by trade, but has been playing at right back of late. He can feature in a multitude of positions. The Daily Star has reported that Kimmich could go for as little as £25 million this summer due to his contract expiring in 2025. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.